Why are we afraid of the dark? Picture the scene. It's midnight. You're lying in bed. The room is completely plunged into darkness. The silence is absolute. Suddenly, you hear a creak coming from a corner of the room. Your heart instantly races. Your muscles go tense. You hold your breath. Your eyes try to pierce the gloom, searching for any sign of movement. You aren't alone in the room, but your brain insists there's something there, lurking. It's a primitive feeling, almost paralyzing. But take a second and think. You are a modern human being. You live in a safe home with locked doors, electricity, and technology. Why does your brain, a high-tech, evolved biological machine, seem to break and panic just because the lights went out? Why does the absence of light photons trigger such an intense survival reaction? Today, on the Doodle Lab, we're going to uncover what really happens inside your head when the sun goes down. The science of fear and the amygdala. To understand fear, we need to meet our brain's guard dog, the amygdala. Located in the center of the limbic system, the amygdala is responsible for processing emotions, especially fear and anxiety. Think of it as your house's security system. It is constantly monitoring your environment for danger. When you're in a well-lit room, your brain processes visual information constantly. You know where the furniture is, you know no one is there, and your amygdala relaxes. But when the lights go out, that vital source of information disappears. Your brain, which relies on vision for about 80% of how it navigates the world, goes into red alert just to be safe. Since it can't see what's around it, the amygdala takes control. It sends signals to the rest of your body. Prepare to fight or flee. That is why your heart beats faster and your senses become hyper-alert. The fear of the dark isn't a fear of emptiness. It's a fear of uncertainty. The evolutionary legacy. But why haven't we evolved out of this? Why is the fear still here after thousands of years? The answer lies in our species' history. For 99% of our existence, humans didn't sleep in comfortable beds with locked doors. We were nomads living in savannas and forests, exposed to nocturnal predators. Imagine an ancestor of ours 50,000 years ago deciding that the dark wasn't dangerous, that they were too brave to care about what was in the shadows. That individual probably didn't live long enough to pass on their genes. The fear of the dark is, in fact, an extremely efficient survival software. Those who were afraid, who were cautious and avoided the dark without protection, survived and had children. We are the descendants of those cautious survivors. Fear of the dark isn't a factory defect. It's a relic of a world where we were the prey. The brain as a dramatist. Now there's an extra detail to this story. Your brain hates, absolutely hates, the unknown. When you're in the dark, your brain tries to compensate for the lack of vision. It tries to fill in the gaps. The problem is that your brain, besides being a scientist, is also a very creative horror movie screenwriter. When you see a shadow or hear a noise, it doesn't think logically, "Oh, it's just the wind moving the curtain." Instead, it projects your worst fears onto that dark patch. The coat hanging on the door becomes a human figure. The clicking noise becomes an intruder. Your brain is trying to be helpful, trying to predict the worst-case scenario to ensure you are prepared. It's a defense mechanism that, in our modern life, ends up being a bit dramatic and exaggerated. Hacking the fear and conclusion. So, how can we master this alert? The first step is knowledge. The next time fear strikes in the dark, remember your amygdala. Tell yourself, hey, it's just my primitive security system doing its job a bit too aggressively. Fear loses its power when you understand it. You aren't a coward. You are just a very well-trained survivor, living in a world that isn't the same as it was 50,000 years ago. Understanding the science behind things is the light that chases away the shadows of ignorance. If you enjoyed uncovering the mysteries of the human mind with me today, don't forget to subscribe here to the Doodle Lab. Every week, we bring you science and technology made simple. See you next time.